children. Hope all of us are doing good. The topic that we will study today is components of food, and the things we will learn are components of food, balanced diet and deficiency diseases. A popular saying, health is wealth, executes the importance of health in just 3 words. It states that a good health is above all the treasure of the world. Therefore, good health is the basic need of human beings. Unfortunately, health cannot be donated or distributed to anyone. One has to achieve it by his or her own efforts. Healthy food is the first step in order to achieve good health. It provides all the essential components of the food which are required by our body to stay healthy. Let us discuss about the components of food. तो जैसा कि मानना है कि अगर हम हेल्दी हैं तो इसका मतलब हमारे पास दुनिया की सारी ट्रेजर है, लेकिन जो हेल्थ है वो अपने आप से नहीं बनती है, उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। और जो फर्स्ट स्टेप है अपनी अच्छी हेल्थ मेंटेन करने का वो है हेल्दी फूड खाना। तो अब हेल्दी फूड क्या है, उसके अलग अलग कंपोनेंट्स क्या हैं, लेट अस नो अबाउट देम। So let us begin with the components of food. A healthy food is one which has all the essential substances required by our body for proper growth and functioning. These essential substances are called nutrients. Therefore, nutrients are the substances which are obtained by an organism through its food and used by it as a source of energy for the growth or proper functioning of the body. अब हेल्दी खाना क्या है, जिसमें वो सारे इसेंशियल सब्सटेंसेस हैं जो हमारी बॉडी को ग्रोथ के लिए और प्रॉपर फंक्शन करने के लिए चाहिए। ये जो इसेंशियल सब्सटेंसेस हैं इनको न्यूट्रिएंट्स कहते हैं, और हमें ये जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स हैं इनसे जो एनर्जी मिलती है वो एनर्जी हमारी बॉडी यूज़ करती है ग्रोथ के लिए और बाकी के जो ऑर्गन्स हैं सबकी फंक्शनिंग के लिए। There are 5 essential nutrients required by our body. These are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals and vitamins. तो 5 essential nutrients हैं जो हमारी बॉडी को ज़रूरी चाहिए। Now, apart from these 5 nutrients, water and roughage are very important components of our food. So let us discuss the various components of our food. Carbohydrates, फैट्स, प्रोटीन्स, मिनरल्स, विटामिन्स और इन 5 न्यूट्रिएंट्स के अलावा पानी और रफेज, ये हमारी बॉडी को चाहिए प्रॉपर फंक्शनिंग के लिए। इट इज़ अ फैक्ट द स्टडी ऑफ द रोल्स ऑफ डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द फूड इज कॉल्ड द साइंस ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट अस लुक एट द carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also called energy giving food. Now, energy is required by our body for carrying out daily activities. We take carbohydrates in the form of starch and sugar. Sugar is the simplest form of carbohydrates. Fruits, honey and table sugar are some important forms of sugar. Carbohydrates को हम energy giving food कहते हैं। हमारी बॉडी को डेली एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए बहुत सारी एनर्जी चाहिए होती है। हम जो एनर्जी के लिए कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स लेते हैं ये स्टार्च या शुगर के फॉर्म में होते हैं। नाउ शुगर तो हम सब जानते ही हैं। स्टार्च इज़ द कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म ऑफ कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स. Intact starch molecules are made up of a number of sugar molecules. Therefore, starch contains more energy than sugar. जो स्टार्च है वो भी बहुत सारे शुगर मॉलिक्यूल्स इकट्ठे मिलकर के बनाते हैं, इसलिए स्टार्च के अंदर भी शुगर होती है और इसमें शुगर से ज़्यादा एनर्जी होती है। Energy in plants is stored in the form of starch. Plant products like potato, rice, wheat, corn, etc. are rich in starch. Let us do it. Aim to test the presence of starch in foodstuff. Materials required: sample food, dilute iodine solution, test tube, spirit lamp. Procedure: crush the sample food and add it to the test tube. Add some water and shake well. Heat the mixture for 1 minute and let it cool. Add a few drops of iodine solution and observe. Observation: the content of the test tube turns blue-black. Conclusion: the blue-black color of the content indicates that the food sample contains starch. Now let's come to fats. Fats are also energy-giving foods. We obtain fats either from plants or animals. Fats like coconut oil, groundnut oil, soybean oil and mustard oil are obtained from plants, while fats like ghee, butter, cream etc. are obtained from animals. जो फैट्स हैं ये भी एनर्जी गिविंग फूड हैं। अब फैट्स हमें प्लांट्स एनिमल्स दोनों से ही मिलते हैं। Fats provide more energy than carbohydrates. A limited amount of fats in food is essential for our body as it helps in the absorption of some vitamins in the body. थोड़ा बहुत फैट हमारी बॉडी को ज़रूर चाहिए, वैसे फ़ैट में कार्बोहाइड्रेट से ज़्यादा एनर्जी होती है और जो फ़ैट है वो हेल्प करते हैं कि बहुत सारे विटामिन्स कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो हमारी बॉडी फ़ैट के प्रेजेंस में ही अब्जॉर्ब कर सकती है. बट एक्सेस फैट इन आवर फूड गेट्स डिपॉजिटेड इन आवर बॉडी एंड मेक्स अस ओबीज. Obesity may also lead to heart diseases. Ghee, butter, cream, soybean oil, groundnut oil, etc. are visible sources of fat, but food items like meat, fish, eggs and all types of nuts also contain fats. तो अगर हम फैट ज़्यादा खा लें तो हमारी बॉडी में मोटापा आता है जिससे और बहुत सारे डिजीजेस आ जाते हैं. अब घी, बटर, ऑयल टाइप की जो चीज़ें हैं ये तो हमें नज़र आ ही रही हैं कि ये फ़ैट के सोर्सेज हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे खाने होते हैं जैसे कि मीट, फिश, एग वगैरह, इनके अंदर भी फ़ैट होता है. थिंक आउट ऑफ मिल्क एंड बटर विच वन विल हैव मोर न्यूट्रिशनल वैल्यू एंड वाई. लेट अस डू इट. एम to detect the presence of fat in a food sample. Material required: a sample food containing fats, a white paper sheet. Procedure: place the food sample on paper sheet and rub it gently. Take care the paper does not tear. Unfold the paper and observe it carefully. Observation: you will find an oily patch on the paper. Let the paper dry for some time. Now hold the paper against light. You will be able to see the light faintly through this patch. Conclusion: the formation of patch on the paper shows that the sample food contains fats. Now let us look at proteins. Proteins help our body for building muscles and repairing worn out tissues. तो प्रोटीन जो हैं हमारी बॉडी के मसल्स को बिल्ड करते हैं और जो हमारे टिश्यूज़ डैमेज हो गए हैं या वोर्न आउट हैं, घिस गए हैं, उनको रिपेयर करते हैं. Our skin, hair, nail and even blood are made up of proteins. Proteins also synthesizes enzymes which help in the process of digestion. तो हमारी बॉडी के जो अलग अलग पार्ट्स हैं जैसे कि स्किन, हेयर, नेल, यहाँ तक कि हमारा ब्लड, इनको बनाने में प्रोटीन चाहिए होता है और हमारे बॉडी के अंदर खाने को डाइजेशन के लिए जो एंजाइम्स चाहिए उनके बनने में भी प्रोटीन्स ज़रूरी होते हैं. Hemoglobin is also a kind of protein which carries oxygen that we breathe from air to the various parts of our body. Proteins also help in making hormones and some vitamins. तो hormones और vitamins बनाने के लिए भी protein चाहिए. If we do not eat proteins, our body does not synthesize new cells and will not be able to repair damaged cells. We obtain proteins from plants as well as animals. Pulses, soybeans, grams and nuts are protein-rich food items which come from plants, while milk, meat, fish and eggs are obtained from animals. Let us do it. Aim to test the presence of proteins in a food sample. Materials required: a sample food rich in protein, copper sulfate solution, sodium hydroxide, test tube, spirit lamp. Procedure: crush the food sample and add it in the test tube. Add some water in the test tube and shake it well. Heat the contents for 1 minute. Let the contents cool down. When it cools down, add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and sodium hydroxide to it. Observation: you will observe that the food sample turns purple or violet. Conclusion: the purple color of the content indicates the presence of protein. Now we come to vitamins. Vitamins are protective foods. They are required for the proper functioning of our body. Our body needs vitamins only in very small quantity, but their deficiency may lead to severe diseases. Vitamins help in keeping our eyes, bones, teeth and gums healthy. तो विटामिन्स जो हैं ये हमारी बॉडी के प्रॉपर फंक्शनिंग के लिए ज़रूरी हैं. इन्हें हम प्रोटेक्टिव फूड कहते हैं और ये हमें बहुत ही कम क्वांटिटी में चाहिए, लेकिन अगर इनकी डेफिशिएंसी हो तो बहुत सारी बीमारियां होती हैं. नाउ विटामिन्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 कैटेगरीज. Fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E and K are fat soluble vitamins. Then water soluble vitamins. So vitamin B complex and vitamin C are water soluble vitamins. It is a fact vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, B12 and folic acid are together known as vitamin B complex. Now, only vitamin D is synthesized by our body in the presence of sunlight. Remaining other vitamins are taken through the food items that we eat. Fat soluble vitamins are stored in the fat tissues of our body and are used only when the body needs them. However, water soluble vitamins are not stored in the body. These need to be regularly supplied through food items. So, fruits, green leafy vegetables, eggs, whole grain, milk, fish, etc. are sources of विटामिन्स. सो विटामिन डी ही है जो हमारी बॉडी खुद से बनाती है सनलाइट की प्रेजेंस में. बाकी सारे विटामिन्स हमें अलग अलग फूड आइटम्स के थ्रू कंज्यूम करने पड़ते हैं. जो फैट टिश्यूज़ हैं उनके अंदर फैट सोल्यूबल विटामिन स्टोर्ड होते हैं, लेकिन बाकी जो मिनरल्स हैं जो कि वाटर सोल्यूबल मिनरल्स हैं वो हमें रेगुलरली खाने के थ्रू कंज्यूम करने पड़ते हैं. नाउ लेट अस लुक एट मिनरल्स. Minerals are also called protective foods. They keep our body healthy and protect us from many infections. Minerals perform important functions like formation of bones, teeth and blood cells. Iron, calcium, potassium, chlorine, sulfur, iodine, phosphorus, etc. are some examples of minerals. Minerals are also required in small quantities. मिनरल्स को भी हम प्रोटेक्टिव फूड कहते हैं क्योंकि ये हमें बीमारियों से, इन्फेक्शन से बचा के रखते हैं और ये हमारे बॉडी के अंदर बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस का काम करते हैं, जैसे कि हमारे बोन्स, टीथ वगैरह को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाते हैं, ब्लड सेल्स बनाते हैं. ये भी हमें बहुत ही कम क्वांटिटी में चाहिए होते हैं. मिल्क, चीज़, ग्रीन लीफी वेजिटेबल्स, फिश, सिट्रस फ्रूट्स etc. आर एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ मिनरल्स. Now, these are 5 important nutrients required by our body. These nutrients give energy to our body and protect us from diseases. Apart from these nutrients, the two very important components of our food are dietary fibers and water. Both of these things keep our body clean from inside. तो खाने के ये जो 5 इम्पॉर्टेंट न्यूट्रिएंट्स हैं, इनके अलावा डाइटरी फाइबर और पानी भी बहुत ज़रूरी हैं क्योंकि ये दोनों चीज़ें हमारी बॉडी को अंदर से साफ़ करती हैं, साफ़ रखती हैं. रफेज एंड डाइटरी फाइबर्स. Roughage or dietary fibers are undigested part of carbohydrates. It helps in retaining water inside our body. Dietary fibers do not provide any nutrient to our body, yet they form an important part of our diet because they add bulk to our food on which muscles of our intestines work. Thus they help in bowel movement which keeps our digestion fit. तो जो रफेज है इसके अंदर अपने आप से तो कोई न्यूट्रिएंट्स है नहीं. अब ये रफेज क्या है? ये कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स का वो वाला फाइबर है या अनडाइजेस्टेड पार्ट है जो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर क्या हेल्प करता है कि हमारे इंटेस्टाइन मसल्स को काम करने में मदद करता है और ये हमारे खाने का बल्क बढ़ाता है. तो जो हमारे बॉडी के अंदर बावल मूवमेंट्स होनी चाहिए जिनकी वजह से कि हमारी डाइजेशन सही रहती है, वो इस डाइटरी फाइबर की वजह से होती है. Dietary fibers are of two types, soluble and insoluble. Soluble fibers help in blood circulation while insoluble fibers help in bowel movements. Now, fruits like apple, strawberry, peach and rice are sources of soluble fibers, while the whole grains, carrot, cabbage, turnips and cauliflowers are examples of food rich in insoluble fibers. Now, let us look at water. Our body can survive without food for several days, but cannot survive without water even for a few days. Water makes 60 to 70% of our body weight. Water helps in regulating our body temperature and helps our body to absorb nutrients. Many waste products produced in our body like urea are thrown out of the body with the help of water in the form of urine and sweat. तो हमारी बॉडी का 60 to 70% जो वेट है, बॉडी वेट है, वो पानी की वजह से है. अब पानी हमारे बॉडी के टेम्परेचर को रेगुलेट करता है. ये हेल्प करता है कि हमारी बॉडी अलग अलग न्यूट्रिएंट्स को अब्जॉर्ब कर सके और जो वेस्ट मटेरियल है वो भी पानी में मिक्स होकर यूरिन और स्वेट के फॉर्म में बॉडी के बाहर निकलता है. Though we get water from the food and fruits we eat, but as it constantly goes out of the body through sweat and urine, so we need to drink water after certain intervals. We should drink every day at least 8 to 10 glasses of water. It keeps our body hydrated. But if somehow we fail to drink enough water, it can lead to a condition called dehydration. Water is a necessity of our life, but remember, we should always drink pure water. Milk, fruits, vegetables, juices, etc. are good sources of water. तो पानी हमें fruits, vegetables से मिलता है. अब क्योंकि हम constantly पानी body के बाहर sweat और urine के through निकालते हैं, तो हमें ज़रूरत है कि daily हम 8 से 10 glasses पानी के ज़रूर पिएं, साफ़ पानी पिएं. अगर पानी की कमी होती है body में तो dehydration हो जाती है. Now let us look at balanced diet. The food we eat must contain all the nutrients along with sufficient water and roughage for keeping our body healthy. Therefore, a diet that contains adequate amount of each nutrient with proper amount of water and roughage is called a balanced diet. खाने में अगर पांचों न्यूट्रिएंट्स रिक्वायर्ड क्वांटिटी में हैं, साथ में रफेज और पानी है, तभी हमारी डाइट बैलेंस्ड डाइट बनती है. You have seen that different food items contain different nutrients. Therefore, we should eat different food items to fulfill the requirement of nutrients. For the sake of simplicity, food items are divided into 4 groups. First is milk group. Milk, curd, butter, paneer, ghee, etc. Then we have the protein group. Pulses, soybean, nuts, seeds, eggs, meat, etc. Then we have the fruit and vegetables group, different fruits and vegetables. Then we have the whole grain group, which include wheat, rice, maize, etc. So a balanced diet must include So a balanced diet must include foodstuffs from each group. Now let us look at the deficiency diseases. Diseases caused by the deficiency of any of the nutrient are called deficiency disease. किसी भी nutrient की कमी से जो बीमारी होती है उसे deficiency disease कहते हैं. Deficiency diseases are non-communicable diseases because these diseases cannot transmit from one person to another. ये खाने में किसी न किसी nutrient की कमी से होते हैं, ये एक से दूसरे को transfer नहीं होते, तो non-communicable होते हैं. Some of the deficiency diseases are as follows. Carbohydrate deficiency. Now carbohydrates are a source of energy. If carbohydrates are lacking in our diet, the person will suffer from lack of energy and stamina. A diet that gives less than 2200 calories a day is deficient in carbohydrates. A person who does hard manual work needs more carbohydrates in his diet than a person who does his work sitting in his office. तो carbohydrates क्योंकि एनर्जी देते हैं, अगर कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स की कमी होती है तो एनर्जी और स्टेमिना उस इंसान में कम हो जाता है. लेकिन काम पे डिपेंड करता है कि किसको कितना रिक्वायरमेंट है. कोई अगर मैनुअल लेबर करता है तो उसको ज़्यादा कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स चाहिए, और अगर कोई ऑफिस में बैठ के काम करता है तो उसको कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स थोड़े कम चाहिए. नाउ लेट अस लुक एट प्रोटीन्स डेफिशिएंसी. We need proteins for building new muscles and repairing the old worn out tissues. Growing children need more proteins in their diet. A protein deficient diet leads to a disease called kwashiorkor. A child suffering from kwashiorkor may have the following symptoms. So the child may have a bloated belly and thin arms and legs. Texture and color of the skin and hair may also change. स्लो मेंटल एंड फिजिकल ग्रोथ. अगर प्रोटीन की डेफिशिएंसी होती है तो जो मसल्स हैं वो प्रॉपरली नहीं बनते, न्यू टिश्यूज़ नहीं बनते, और जो पुराने ओल्ड टिश्यूज़ होते हैं उनकी रिपेयर अच्छी से नहीं होती. बच्चों में अगर प्रोटीन की कमी होती है तो डिजीज़ेस हो जाते हैं, जैसे कि क्वाशियरकोर, जिसमें कि सिम्टम्स क्या हैं कि जो बेली है यानी कि जो पेट है वो फूल जाता है, आर्म्स और लेग्स बहुत ही पतले होते हैं, स्किन और बालों का टेक्सचर भी बहुत अजीब सा और कलर होता है, और मेंटल और फिजिकल ग्रोथ बहुत स्लो हो जाती है. Now deficiency of proteins along with carbohydrates is called protein energy malnutrition, which is known as PEM. अगर प्रोटीन और कार्बोहाइड्रेट दोनों की डेफिशिएंसी होती है तो प्रोटीन एनर्जी malnutrition कहलाया जाता है. It leads to a disease called marasimus. Now it is more common among infants and children under 5 years. The symptoms of the disease are the child becomes very thin and shows slow body growth. Then the child feels lack of energy, loss of appetite, weak legs, mental retardation and poor muscles development. Now it is a fact, to prevent deficiency diseases, the government of India has started programs such as Integrated Child Development Scheme or ICDS and the midday meal schemes in school. Under midday meal schemes, nutritious food is provided in schools situated in rural India. It has two main motives: to promote education in rural areas and to prevent malnutrition in children. Now let us look at vitamins deficiency. Vitamins deficiency causes many diseases. Some of the common vitamins deficiency causing diseases are listed in the table given here. Some vitamins like vitamin C easily destroyed during cooking. Therefore, it is advised that vitamin C rich foods should be eaten raw. Now let us look at this table. Vitamin A sources are green leafy vegetables, fruits, butter, egg, yolk, carrots, fish, and their deficiency leads to night blindness. The symptoms are improper vision, dryness in eyes. Then vitamin B1 sources are eggs, whole grains, sprouts. Deficiency leads to beriberi, and symptoms are inflammation of nerves, digestive problems and heart abnormalities. Then vitamin B2 sources are eggs, milk, green leafy vegetables. Their deficiency leads to skin disorders. Symptoms are healing of skin injuries takes time. Then we have vitamin B12 sources are meat. Deficiency leads to anemia. Symptoms are pale skin, low level of red blood cells, lack of appetite, lack of stamina and weakness. Then we have vitamin C. The sources are citrus fruits like lime, orange, lemon, tomatoes and sprouts. Now the deficiency leads to scurvy and the symptoms are spongy and bleeding gums, loosening of teeth, slow healing of wounds and weakness. Then we have vitamin D. Sources are milk, fish, eggs and sunlight. Now deficiency leads to rickets. The symptoms are weakness, bone deformity and softening of ribs. Then we have vitamin A. Sources are spinach, cabbage, green leafy vegetables. Deficiency leads to hemorrhage and the symptoms are excessive bleeding and slow blood clotting. Now let's look at mineral deficiency. Minerals help in many chemical reactions taking place in the body. Some important minerals and their deficiency diseases are given in the table. So minerals क्या करते हैं, हमारी बॉडी के अंदर जो केमिकल रिएक्शंस हो रहे होते हैं उनमें हेल्प करते हैं, और कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट मिनरल्स और उनके डेफिशिएंसी डिजीजेस इस टेबल में दिए गए हैं. मिनरल लाइक कैल्शियम, the sources are milk and green leafy vegetables. Their deficiency leads to osteoporosis in adults and rickets in children. The symptoms are brittle bones, excessive bleeding, poor muscle movement. Then we have phosphorus. The sources are fish, egg, meat, milk, cheese, potato, bread. The deficiency leads to rickets in children. The symptoms are weakening of bones, poor development of bones and nervous system. Then we have potassium and sodium. Sources are egg, milk, cheese, potato, salt. Now the deficiency leads to paralysis, body and muscle weakness. And the symptoms are general weakness, dehydration. Then we have iron. The sources are cereals, pulses, meat and green leafy vegetables. The deficiency leads to anemia. And the symptoms are pale body color, body fatigue, extreme tiredness and weakness. Then we have magnesium. Sources are cheese, green leafy vegetables, cereals, chicken and fish. Now the deficiency diseases are weak muscles and nerves, and the symptoms are loss of appetite, upset stomach. Then we have iodine. The sources are seafood and salt. The deficiency leads to goiter and symptoms are enlargement of the thyroid gland, mental retardation and retarded growth. Then we have fluorine. The sources are seafood and tea. The deficiency leads to weakening of teeth and bone, and the symptoms are tooth decay and weak bones. Now let us look at deficiency of water in the body. Excess loss of water and minerals from the body causes dehydration. In dehydration, the body becomes weak. Dehydration is caused by infection through bacteria, which usually occurs when a person is not practicing proper hygiene or contaminated water is being drunk. तो अगर बॉडी में पानी और मिनरल्स की कमी होती है तो डिहाइड्रेशन हो जाती है. ये ज़्यादातर बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन से होती है. अगर आप साफ पानी नहीं पीते उससे भी हो जाती है. It can be treated by giving oral rehydration solution known as ORS. Let us do it. Aim to make ORS or oral rehydration solution. Materials required: a glass of water, a tablespoon of sugar and a pinch of salt. Procedure: mix all the things and stir properly so that the sugar and salt dissolve completely. Conclusion: the content of the glass is homemade ORS. Now let us take a quick recap. Nutrients are the essential substances required to maintain good health. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are 5 essential nutrients of our food. Water and roughage are 2 another components of food which do not have any nutrients themselves but are still important for good health. Carbohydrates and fats provide energy to our body. Proteins are needed for muscle building and for repairing worn out tissues. Vitamins and minerals are needed for the normal functioning of our body. Water is very important for our body as it is a medium of transportation of nutrients. Roughage are plant fibers which are required for the proper functioning of the digestive system. A balanced diet consists of adequate proportions of all nutrients, and deficiency diseases are caused due to the lack of essential nutrients. So, I hope that this chapter is clear to all, and answering questions based on this chapter will now be easy.